I know it's been raining adventure tourers of late, and just when I thought I can finally take these ghastly boots off, another one came along. This one's the SWM Superdual, and before you go, SW what? Let me tell you everything you need to know about it. The Superdual started life as a tried and tested Husqvarna TE610, and SWM added an electric starter, fuel injection, some electronics and a few changes to the mechanicals apart from making it Euro 4 compliant. The result is a purposeful looking motorcycle that's filled to the brim with practicality. With 180mm of ground clearance and an 898mm seat height, the Superdual offers a commanding riding stance to tall riders, although short riders, especially those unfamiliar with off-road motorcycles, may find it a bit challenging to begin with. The riding position is completely stress-free though, and it works well both on and off the road. It's in the details that the Superdual leaves you unimpressed. The speedometer, to begin with, is a digital unit, but the display is small and rather basic, not something we're used to at this price point. The body panels too could be better finished and integrated, and in this aspect the Superdual certainly doesn't feel premium. The switchgear meanwhile is decent, although that fog light switch looks like an afterthought at best. Lastly, while the slim seat suits its off-roading intentions, the pillion seat is laughably narrow and is best reserved for, let's just say, people you don't like very much. The T variant you see here is shod with a few standard accessories, namely the fog lights, engine guard, skid plate, knuckle protectors and the luggage rack, for all of which Motor Royale is asking for a premium of 50,000 rupees over the base motorcycle, which is a fair price. In addition to the basics, however, the Superdual features nothing exemplary in terms of kit or rider assists. Except ABS, which can be disengaged at the rear wheel, the Superdual lets you be completely in charge and therefore responsible for every aspect of its performance. I quite like the idea of a big single-cylinder trailer, and I also don't mind the Superdual's basic to-the-point approach. However, this almost dirt bike is going to cost you a fat lump of money, and so it has a lot to deliver. Does it though? As always, I have a great idea. I'm going to take it for a spin. India never got its due when it comes to large displacement single-cylinder enduro machines, so the Superdual's liquid-cooled 600cc motor comes across as quite a charmer. While 54 HP and 55 Nm of torque aren't exactly numbers that will blow your mind, in the real world they come together to offer a potent yet friendly performance package. The engine sounds more like a big dirt bike than a polished adventure tourer, and the throttle feels light and responsive. The 6-speed gearbox is simply fantastic, offering quick and seamless gear shifts, and it complements the enjoyable acceleration really well. You can choose to cruise at 100 km per hour in 6th gear with the revs around the 3200 RPM mark, and thankfully the motor gathers steam effortlessly from just about any point. As a poised mud plugger and something you can clock a few hundred fast highway miles on, the Superdual works like a charm. All things considered, this motorcycle has India written all over it in terms of its usability, and that's a big compliment. The single-cylinder motor, well, single-handedly makes the Superdual a very different kind of motorcycle to ride. To begin with, it has the tractability of a train, and while it's not bursting at the seams with power, there's enough of it to make you have a good time while you tear past the scenery. The super quick gearbox is really worthy of a round of applause, and the lack of electronic rider assist is a refreshing change without taking away anything from the performance package. The downside is there are vibrations almost all through the rev range, especially at the foot pegs, and on the whole, the Superdual feels a generation old in its mannerisms. But there is redemption in the form of what it can do off the road. On tarmac, its slim, narrow stance and tires aren't the most natural cornering package, even though the tires cope quite well with aggressive riding inputs, so it's best you ride it with flared elbows and a leg dangling like you would on dirt. Off the road though, there's nothing to stop you until you run the fuel tank dry, and even that takes an eternity given that you have 18 litres of petrol to burn in one go. The Superdual simply feels rock solid off the road, and no matter what sort of abuse you decide to put it through, it emerges unfazed and encouraging like nothing else. The rebound, damping adjustable, long travel, fast ace upside down fork comes from China, and it absorbs unruly surfaces with absolute ease, while the Sachs monoshock is preload adjustable and it works remarkably to offer a good ride over all kinds of surfaces. The brakes too offer just the right amount of bite and progression, especially off the road, and ABS is thankfully disengageable at the rear wheel, so you can have a good time kicking out the tail. I suggest you invest in a good pair of off-road boots if you really want to enjoy what this motorcycle can do, although you can be wiser than I've been in terms of picking one in a subtle shade. Overall, the Superdual feels communicative and almost endlessly capable off the road, something no other adventure tourer on sale in India can match. And if that matters to you more than road performance, the Superdual is just the bike you've been waiting for. The Superdual is the closest you're going to get to a street-legal dirt bike, and by that I mean it's nimble, immune to abuse, and most importantly, a whole lot of fun. This comes with certain highway limitations, however, and by that I mean it was never going to be as plush or as long-distance friendly as a Suzuki V-Strom or the Kawasaki Versys 650. However, think of it as a hero impulse that grew too large, and you'll begin to appreciate the Superdual as a big bike with almost no airs about it. However, all that fun you can have comes with some compromises, and these aren't exactly things you can ignore. The impractical pillion seat is certainly a cause for concern, and Motor Royale would have done well to address fit and finish levels as well. More importantly, the competition, which consists of evolved machines such as the Versys and the V-Strom, are far better suited to the highway and offer better equipment levels as well, which helps them justify their price tags. Another concern is, of course, Motor Royale's existing service network, which you can count on the fingers of one hand. The biggest of the Superdual's demons, however, is the price tag. At 7.3 lakh rupees ex-showroom, the Superdual is too expensive for what it can offer on the whole, and while it's easy to be impressed by a bike that can do heroic stuff, a bike has to do more than just add to your Instagram popularity. Don't get me wrong, I haven't had this kind of fun on a bike in a long time, and I really want to love the Superdual, but at this price, it's just not fair, and that means I can finally take these ghastly boots off.